Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kev's Movie Corner. I am Kev and this week we are talking about Tootsie. This movie came out in 1982. Quick snippet from IMDb. Michael Dorsey, an unsuccessful actor, disguises himself as a woman in order to get a role on a trashy hospital soap. It stars Dustin Hoffman, Jessica Lange, Teri Garr, and is directed by Pollack. I will start out by saying this is one of my well, I'm not going to actually say that. I was going to say this is one of my favorite movies that I've watched in a little while on this, but I also watched Unforgiven recently. But this was one of my favorite comedies. This is one of the few comedies I feel like we've watched on here. This was a really funny and really interesting movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. As I said in the little synopsis, Dustin Hoffman plays a basically like one of the top most brilliant actors in Hollywood, or not in Hollywood, in New York. The beginning of the movie is a montage of him doing auditions and teaching acting classes to make ends meet, because during all these auditions, he keeps getting told that he's not right for the part. You don't know why, he just keeps getting told, like, oh, we're looking for somebody else, or it doesn't matter what he does, he's just, every time they are looking for somebody else. We want somebody taller, we want somebody shorter, we're just looking for somebody different, we want somebody older, we want somebody younger, something. But it's always somebody different. They always want something different. And so in order to make ends meet, he's working at a restaurant as a waiter, and he's teaching acting classes. And one of his, he ends up, I guess he has a birthday, and, they throw a party for him. One of his students kind of surprises him by, showing up at a bunch of his students show up at a party, and whatever, they have a big party for his birthday, and he finds out about a soap opera that one of his students is going to try out for. She's going to try to be on this hospital soap. I don't remember what it's called. It's basically seems like it's General Hospital is what it is. It's some hospital-based soap. I don't remember what it's called. Southwest General. So it's a hospital-based soap opera. And she doesn't even get to read the script. They say that they're looking for somebody different before she even gets to read anything. He immediately asks if somebody's working there, and one of his friends, I guess, and the lady at the desk tells him that he's working on a show or rehearsing for a show on Broadway. And Michael Dorsey, Dustin Hoffman's character, immediately is like, well, that's what I was supposed to be doing. And he runs out of the studio, the network, and goes to see his agent. And he gets into a shouting match with his agent over this and over his lack of work. And his agent, this is when he learns, and his agent informs him that he is unhireable. He is so difficult to work with that nobody in New York, nobody in Hollywood, anywhere will hire him, because he is too much of a perfectionist and too difficult to deal with, that nobody will hire him. So, in order to prove everybody wrong and in a move of desperation, he dresses in drag, and he goes and tries out for the role that his female student was trying out for on the soap opera, and he ends up getting the job as a woman on a soap opera. Which, and it just is ridiculous. He plays like a upper middle-aged hospital administrator. One of the first scenes that he does, he ends up having to kiss one of the older male doctors on set, which he tries to prevent from happening, but which he does in the recording, but the old man comes up and kisses him afterwards anyway, and he's just flabbergasted, which is just comical. And it's just, the whole thing is over the top, because, he's trying to, at the same time, he's trying to live this double life, because he doesn't want his this girl that is his student, who was going out for the job, to find out, because he's afraid it will devastate her. Because she's already upset that she can't get jobs, and if she were to find out that a man got a job for a woman's role when she couldn't get a job for a woman's role, that it would devastate her. So you've got this whole thing going on. He goes one night to, I don't remember why he's at her apartment one night, but she's in the shower, and he's trying to look and see what one of her dresses would look like on him. And he undresses in her bedroom. She comes out of the shower, sees him half naked, and in order to, instead of saying he wanted to try on one of her dresses, he plays it off saying that he wants her, and they end up sleeping together, which ends up making it just 10 times worse as well. So then you have this whole thing going on. So you've got he keeps piling on and on and on. While all that's going on, he also falls for one of the girls on the set that he works with at the soap opera, who is Jessica Lange's character, Julie Nichols. She plays a nurse on the set. She is dating the director, who is kind of a sexist. Well, he's not kind of a sexist. He is a sexist. He doesn't treat her very well. He cheats on her and everything else, and he, just plays it off as, well, she doesn't want me to date anybody, so I date anybody else, so I just don't tell her, and that's how I get away with it, or how I just go about my day. And so he's kind of a, terrible person. But you've got that going on. Dustin Hoffman, obviously can't do anything about that, because he's falling for this woman. He's also in a relationship with another woman, but doesn't want her to find out that he's actually in a soap opera. He's also the whole reason that he's done this is to try to raise money for his roommate's play, to put on his roommate's play. By the way, his roommate is played by Bill Murray, who is just making up lines as he goes. Most of his lines were improv in this whole movie, which is fun. He's just kind of writing in the movie, and he's just kind of writing his own play to be put on at Syracuse. And it's just, he keeps getting himself, Michael Dorsey, Dustin Hoffman's character, just keeps getting himself deeper and deeper into this hole. Eventually he gets asked to his coworkers for the holidays. He gets asked to her dad's house for the holidays with her and her little child, her little girl. And her dad kind of starts hitting on Dustin Hoffman's character, on Michael, while he's in drag. ends up later asking him to marry him. He also almost gets attacked by the older man who wants him, almost gets attacked at home by him before Bill Murray, his roommate, walks in. So you've got all this going on. The student, Sandy, ends up walking in as well, or coming over right after this whole ordeal. Finds out that Michael is in love with another woman, breaks up with him, freaks out. So you've got this kind of whole thing comes to a clash. And at this point, Michael is trying to get out of this contract. This character that he has come up with has been such a hit with the network. He's been making up lines. He's been kind of doing his own thing, but he's been so charismatic for the soap opera that he has become such a character that the network wants to sign him on for another year. He doesn't want that. He wants to get out of the contract. And he figures out a way to do this. They end up having an issue, which they kind of plant earlier. They say that they've had to do live records before because something happens to the tape recorded the day before. They end up having to air a episode live. They end up having to shoot an episode live. And during this, he goes entirely off script and reveals a massive twist that he is actually avenging he has taken the identity of his sister and is avenging her and is actually her brother and is a man. And that's where the soap opera fades to black and commercial break. And then his coworker comes up and is very upset and punches him and then storms off. Then you have the rest of the movie is kind of him going up, trying to pick up the pieces. He goes to Julie's dad to return the ring that he proposed with when he thought that Michael was a woman. They have kind of a nice little conversation and have a couple beers and stuff. He eventually kind of makes up with, and he kind of waits for Julie and ends up talking to her. And that's where the movie ends. He kind of makes amends about what, that it made him a better person. So being a woman made him a better person. So, and that's basically the movie. Extremely funny. It is a satirical comedy. Bill Murray, he doesn't play a major role, but he's kind of in it and just random because he's Bill Murray. He's just kind of there and making jokes the whole time and bantering. Dustin Hoffman does a great job of playing just kind of a random. He just does a really good job of switching back and forth between the woman in drag and himself and trying to, be both sentimental at times with these people and be comical with other incidents that are going on. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's right under 2 hours long. So it's not a super long movie. It goes really quick because, like I said, it's a lot of fun. And it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I would recommend it for anybody who likes a comedy. If you like a romantic comedy, it's a fun romantic comedy. If you like just a comedy, it's fun just as a comedy. it kind of made me think like Mrs. Doubtfire a little bit, because it's, kind of like Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire, except not. It's a little. I don't know if I'd say it's a little more ridiculous. It seems to be a little more ridiculous almost, but yeah, this is about 10 years before, I think, Mrs. Doubtfire. This movie did pretty well. It did pretty well critically. It did pretty well at the box office. It was actually the third highest grossing film of 1982. And it was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won one. Jessica Lange won for Best Supporting Actress. It's also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, among others. It also had a musical that came out in 2018. It opened in Chicago and then opened on Broadway in 2019. So it did have a musical for itself. A couple fun tidbits that I found on this was Dorothy originally wasn't set to speak. She has a Southern accent in this movie. Dustin Hoffman found that when he did the Southern accent, he could get a little higher in the pitch range, which kind of worked better for him, so he just did a Southern accent. He had a lot of creative control, from what I understand. He was given a lot of creative control when he signed on to this, and he made a lot of changes, didn't make a lot of changes, but he was given a lot of creative control when he signed on. So, one of the other things that I thought was funny on this is, two other things. I mentioned that Bill Murray's, most of his dialogue was improvised. The other thing that I thought was really funny was that the crew would only give bad news to Dustin Hoffman if he was in drag, because they said he was much nicer as a woman, which is just comical. The fact that you just were like, oh, well, you're in drag, so we're just gonna tell you the bad stuff now. If you're not dressed as a woman, we're not gonna tell you the bad news, because we don't want to get yelled at right now. Makes sense. I don't necessarily blame him. So anyway, I think that is it for this week. Hope you guys watched it. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, go out and watch it, because it was a lot of fun. A couple hours. It's a pretty quick one. Next week is In the Heat of the Night from 1967. I don't know who's in that, so we'll see. We'll watch that and watch that for next week. And I will don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys then.